This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by
Freaking.com.
I'm standing here with Seth Hipple, Liberty lawyer from Concord, and the defender of Catherine Bleish. She was a young lady who was gotten mixed up with Nashua Police Department after that big marijuana celebration in downtown Nashua, and was charged with disorderly conduct. But you were able to tell me a little bit about I mean, obviously you won the case, but tell me a little bit about some of the interesting things that happened in the trial.
Well, I was actually approached by a few people and asked if I could represent Miss Bleish, and my initial answer was no, because they told me the circumstances were that she was arrested at a 420 protest, and I obviously don't have a problem representing people at 420 protests, but for pro bono work I try to choose it pretty carefully. And my view is, if you're doing civil disobedience, you might as well go the whole way and, you know, take the punishment, which is, I think, the purpose of civil disobedience. I think my pro bono time is better spent elsewhere. But I watched the video on the request of a friend, and if you've ever seen the video, there's one part where there's this dog, this German Shepherd that the Nashua police brought out.
Get on the curb. Get on the curb.
I am here to document this.
You're
Do
going
not
to get arrested if you don't get on the curb, right? Take her to custody, lock her up right now.
And that dog really made me angry. Catherine was basically given 3 seconds that I counted. I counted less than 3 seconds from the time they said to leave the sidewalk.
I am afraid of this dog. Please stop. Stop. I'm not dying.
Place your camera down there. Place your camera down. Let go of the camera.
Someone get my camera. I don't have a hold of it.
To the time that she was ordered to be arrested. And that
You mean to
dog,
leave the street and go to the sidewalk.
go to the sidewalk,
Yeah.
and she was given about 3 seconds, and during that 3 seconds, she states one sentence, which is, "I'm here to document this. Do not sick that dog on me." And even as she's being arrested, all she can think to say is, "I'm afraid of this dog." And I thought it was a very clear case that there was no disorderly conduct. It was obvious that the police had just kind of lost their minds a little bit and started. Well, I don't want to say that. It was a difficult situation for them, and they had basically started arresting people at random, is the way I saw it. So we took her case, and Catherine was an excellent client, very cooperative, very easy to deal with, and we were able to. We filed a motion. Interestingly, it's a Class B misdemeanor she was charged with, so she wasn't given the right to a jury. The maximum fine is $1,200. We filed a motion that was about 30 pages long, I'd say. It took us about 20 to 25 hours to write. So if we're billing at $100 an hour, we're talking about $2,000 to $2,500 worth of legal fees. So I assume the Nashua police were rather perplexed by this, that someone would spend $2,500 to defend a $1,200 crime. But they actually reassigned the case from their original prosecutor to an attorney. So they, Ms. Bleish was offered a $500 fine, and she refused it. And at trial date it was dropped to $250, and she still refused it.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to trial.
Yeah. You were telling me that there were some interesting things that happened in terms of some of the exchanges inside there. What was the ones that some of the ones that stood out to you?
The one that people have come up to me and repeated often, which is kind of funny, was there was an exchange where at the end I put Catherine on the stand to ask her to explain her impression of the situation. And the prosecutor on cross-examination was trying to get her to admit that she knew that these men were police officers, because that's an element of the crime. And she said, "Did you know that these were police officers?" And Catherine said something to the effect that I did, or somehow I figured it out. And the prosecutor said, "Did the badges give it away?" And Catherine answered, "The violence gave it away." And there was kind of a pause in the courtroom. The prosecutor wasn't quite sure what to say to that. Got a few chuckles from the crowd, but I've heard a lot of people seem to really like that exchange.
What was your experience in terms of how the prosecutors handled themselves in terms of demeanor? Did they treat you appropriately? Did
Absolutely.
they treat Catherine appropriately, other than trying to hurt her?
Well, other than the fact that she was facing a crime, I thought the prosecutor was very easy to deal with and very courtly to me. I didn't have any problems with them.
What do you think's going to change now that we've got, it's not just you, there's more than one Liberty lawyer in New Hampshire, and do you think, of course, there's a lot of Liberty activists that have had to kind of go up against the system by themselves, or at least with no lawyer. What do you think is going to change now that we've got more people kind of working inside the legal system?
I don't know. I hope that I think that in this case, the prosecutor seemed rather surprised that Catherine continued to turn down their offers. I think most people would have accepted a $250 fine. I think that perhaps they won't try to prosecute as many of these crimes that are, or these charges that are rather questionable. I mean, if more people have attorneys to back them up, hopefully that they won't continue making these types of charges. I mean, let's be honest. We won Catherine's case, but Catherine was still punished. She had to come out from Missouri twice, and one of those times was she missed her sister's wedding reception. So, you know, it was still a difficult experience for her. So hopefully we can avoid these things altogether by showing them your money and time are not well spent by doing these kind of cases.
All right, Seth, appreciate much your time and also your activism.
No problem.
I'll talk to you. We'll see you out there.
See you soon.
Something that I learned about a year.
Driving in circles around Central Keene, I hurl both insults, angry and mean, against the activists from Free Keene, who wander around thinking as though they were free, and even though they aren't hurting me, I will hate them hatefully, urging their appearance in the penitentiary, although that expense would be charged to me. I'm starting to feel somewhat confusedly.